can't go a whole year and start mispronouncing it. So.
Extra credit if you get my name.
Good evening, it's 6 p.m. I'll call this October 23rd meeting of the Plan Commission to order. The mayor has a conflict this evening and I will chair. My name is Wayne Clark. The next order would be the roll call, please.
Wayne Clark,
Yes.
David Roshka,
Present.
Kathleen Dagenhart, here. Jessica Katzenmeyer,
Here.
Brian Frank,
Here.
Brandon Ranke,
Here.
Lisa Coons is absent or excused. Okay.
We have a quorum. We will proceed. Next is the approval of minutes of the September 25th meeting.
That's so moved. Second.
We have a motion, second. Any changes or adjustments? There being none, those in favor?
Aye.
It's approved. Next will be the new and previous matters. The first is 2A and 2B, conditional use permit for proposed restaurant use within the former bank at 6125 West National Avenue. Steve,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
please.
Thank you, Chairman. This is for a proposal for a conditional use permit for the former West Dallas State Bank and more recently Armed Forces Service Career Center.
Yep.
It was built in 1912. Right now, the existing building is a centerpiece along West National Avenue and West Greenfield Avenue, forming a flat iron triangular building. This proposal is essentially for the conditional use permit to help progress the occupancy for the business forward. The site landscaping and architectural design review will be provided later along with a street vacation. They're kind of waiting to provide more details on the plans because the street vacation affects the greater details of the entire project. But to progress further into the finding a tenant for this revamping and remodeling of this building, they're proposing a restaurant use. This is a conditional use in the C3 zoning district, and the intended operation hours are 10:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. daily. Looking at the preliminary site plan that was submitted with this project, you can see that existing flat iron building. There's no changes to that building besides the additional egress, entry, and exits along the eastern portion of the building, along with a ADA compliant entry ramp on the west side of the building. Existing screened refuse areas are shown on the site right now. That could change with the later plans that are proposed as part of a phase 2 project. Right now there's a maximum of 10 stalls shown on the parking lot of the area. But based on the square footage of the restaurant, they would be allowed a maximum of 33 parking stalls. That street vacation that I mentioned earlier, there's a little segment along South 61st Street right here that is kind of operating in a way that is unsafe as deemed by the engineering department due to its proximity to multiple busy intersections within West Dallas, notably the intersection of National Avenue and Greenfield Avenue. By vacating this alley, the property owners on both sides of the property would receive equal portions. So 6125 West National, which is shown in the blue on the left side, would gain half of that current right-of-way. And the eastern portion, 6131 West National Avenue, shown in green, would gain their half of that portion. This would be their private property, no longer owned by the city. And this is where the site plan kind of gets a little wonky, because this is a huge portion of land for the property that they could build on the existing parking lot, an outdoor patio for extra seating, and then other landscaping amenities, and additionally modifications to the existing parking area. So we'll be looking over the future site plan at a different plan commission date. Looking at the interior floor plan, the scope of this current project is largely alterations on the first and second floor of the building. Within that first floor, there's a large 360-degree bar in the center. That's upon entering past that main entrance on the western portion of the building. Dotted along the interior of the building are the seating options and arrangements for patrons, customers. And then working further into the building, right here is a space for a future kitchen. Additionally, there's 2 restroom facilities, along with staircases to the basement and second floor. That second floor will provide a mezzanine overlooking the entire first floor area, with additional seating and restrooms on that second floor. Basement will just consist of storage areas and then a future prep kitchen space. Here's a rendering, architectural drawing of what the proposed space is to look like. This is showing that first floor with that bar, 360-degree bar in the center, along with the second floor mezzanine. With that being said, we do have a recommendation to to not consider 2A and 2B together, rather approve 2A and hold 2B. 2B would be holding the site landscaping architectural plans based on further submittals by the applicant. We do have a few conditions for this too, pretty standard. Common Council approval of the conditional use permit, and then for that site landscaping plan, we're really looking towards looking at if there's going to be any modifications to the refuse area, parking, additional patios, and other site changes, along with landscaping updates, and then any maintenance to the exterior of the building, and then also a lighting plan. Additionally, they have to apply for granted privilege to have that ADA ramp within the city right of way. Thank you.
Jack, what is the status of the street vacation?
So we had an internal discussion with the engineering department. We were kind of deciding on who should be petitioning for that street vacation. The engineering department confirmed that the applicant should vacate that portion of 61st Street. We've recently notified them. They haven't had the chance to apply for it yet. So, but that's their intention to work forward on this project.
And again, tonight we're just focused on 2A.
Yes, the use of it.
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, so we're doing the approval to say, hey, this place can be used as a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing right now tonight,
Yep.
right?
Any site changes would have to go through the
Still
plan
through the
commission.
planning commission, common council, all that.
Even if it was a different user, this is just for the conditional use on.
Alright, okay,
Mr. Chair, we will still need another motion though for to hold 2B though, right? With 2 separate motions, one to pass 2A, one to hold 2B. Am I correct?
Yes, I believe so.
So, 2B's on hold until an occupant gets in.
Not
Is that how that
necessarily.
works? Or do we already have somebody that's already planning on moving into that?
So the owner of the property, he's been working on this property for quite some time. Right now, the interior is completely gutted, so
Mhm.
it's a blank canvas.
Okay.
And this is sort of a passion project for him. So he's trying to find an appropriate user. I know they've had internal discussion on certain users. We don't know who it is yet.
Okay.
But they were planning to make these changes to provide a space for that tenant to come in there without having to do the expensive legwork essentially for the building.
Okay, that I can understand that.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. We'll move on to number 3. This is the site and landscaping plan revision for proposed tavern use at 7534 West Beloit Road, number 3 on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Wayne. This is Mr. Shrewby is here representing the property, and this property is considered it's a former tavern that wants to be a tavern again. And earlier this year, the Common Council approved the liquor license for a new tavern at this location. And since that time, the property owners, Glenn and Melissa Shrewby, have indicated that they'd like to make some site changes. As you can see from the picture on the left, the tavern, it's an older brick building, 2-story with an apartment above, and the tavern is down below. There's a separate tenant entrance behind here. So they'd like to make some improvements, including some fencing to screen off the proposed patio area on the site, as well as do some landscaping along the front with Beloit Road. They also have the interest in relocating a dumpster area from the east side of the building over to the west side of the building in this area, and we'll get into the plans next. But basically, it's the site changes that are triggering our review this evening. The use is permitted by right, and they have a license to operate as a tavern. They just want to make some other additional investments in this property and then open their doors. So this is the overall property. It's an older aerial view. Now the Shrewbys also own this property to the east, which is a residential property. They've since built a garage back here and eliminated this driveway. As you can see, this parking lot that used to be on the east side of the property, of the bar property, it has access off of Beloit Road, and over time patrons and under previous bar uses were coming and going from the alley or from Beloit Road through this cross access back and forth. That has since been eliminated, and that was a hot button issue for many people in the neighborhood. Just another bird's eye view. Again, an older aerial. This area here is gone. What's been done to date on this property here, they've built a garage back here, and they've since just sort of taken out a lot of this asphalt and put in grass. And then the areas that we're going to be talking about are, this area over here on the west side of the building with refuse area and landscaping. Just for context, this is the property next door. About maybe 2 years ago, this is where the Shrewbys currently live. There's been significant updates to that building to rehab it, a new garage, cutting off that cross access, landscaping improvements. You can just see the investment that's been made, not only eventually in the bar property, but in the property that they live in next door. This is the site plan that they endeavored to create. Some things that have happened so far. There is part of the parking lot here has been removed and replaced with grass. They're planning on putting a wood fence across this area, 5 or 6 foot tall wood fence to screen this yard from view. None of the patrons from this bar would be, accessing this area. It's more or less just a space for, whether the Shrewbys want to use it for their residential use here or tenants above wanted to use it. It's a green space, but not for the commercial use. There is a remnant slab of parking that's here right off of Beloit. They'd like to keep that for the tenant upstairs as well as the bartender that's working that day. It may be Glenn or Melissa, or it could be someone that they hire, but they'd like to have that for either staff and or tenant upstairs. We've passed that through our engineering department, and there's no issue with using it in that manner. Moving on to the west side of the property, they would like to first off just reuse that asphalt area here, freshen it up with some new paving, and put in a patio for their patrons. They would need to apply for an outdoor extension of premise if they want to serve alcohol outside, or if people want to carry their beer outside and have a drink. That requires a licensed extension of premise. And
That's future.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do, we just want to try to get it to look nicer again. It's only gonna be like a smoking area and, and that's the only reason why we would like to do it.
So whether or not they want to use it for drinking outside or not, there's nothing against putting a patio in outside. It's just part of the site change that we'd like to call out here. Wood fence would surround that area. And then they're proposing some concrete areas, a walkway to the refuse enclosure, new concrete leading down to Beloit Road. There'd be a new driveway opening in this area for access. This refuse area is on a slight incline, and they're taking a look at actually lowering the grade in this area to make it more of a, slightly more level for rolling out and rolling back the dumpster in and out of that enclosure in this area. And then there's a new landscaping area. It would be sort of tiered or stepped into the grade with a couple of retaining walls sort of stepping up to the higher point up here. And those would be filled with perennials, annuals, and so on, just to sort of not only provide a little bit softening of the refuse enclosure and the concrete area here, but also lending itself just a better curb appeal in the front yard area, sort of mimicking what you have, enhancing what's over here on the right side in your front yard. So those are the changes that are proposed. Again, many of the issues that I've heard with cross-access being a big bane to the neighborhood have since been eliminated with the green space and the new garage being added. That's all been cut off, so you can't any longer pass through this area between the neighborhood and Beloit Road or vice versa. Everything else, in staff's opinion, is an improvement to what's currently there, and we are recommending approval. These are the conditions that are laid out in your staff report. If there's any questions, feel free. But at this time, we're recommending approval.
I assume that the refuse enclosure will be the wood fence to match?
That's correct. Yeah, it would be a wood or it could be. I think actually what we were told was it could be masonry around the outside, something in the masonry to match the building.
Okay.
Sort of a cream-colored brick. Could be cream-colored masonry, maybe with either wood or similar types of gates.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Steve, the property just to the northeast of that proposed patio,
Yeah.
2572 South 76, when is that?
This is a commercial dry cleaner here, and then this one is a former dentist office, which is currently unoccupied. So these are two commercial uses. I'm sorry, this is north and west. You said north and east?
Well,
Well,
you had the right building, I
Okay.
guess I had the wrong direction.
Sure. Right.
That building right there.
Yeah, so this is a former dentist office, which is currently unoccupied.
All right.
Is there parking only on the street then?
Yeah, street parking is really, there were a very limited number of stalls over here. I mean, this parking lot, it was there for many, many years, for decades. It really didn't serve I mean, you can kind of see there's 2 cars parked here and another box, which is kind of the size of a car. 3 to 4 cars probably at best, functionally. So it really didn't do much other than maybe provide some off-street parking for, bar owners and,
Okay.
staff or tenant upstairs. So that part can still be maintained over here on this remnant little parking space. Otherwise, everybody parks typically on Beloit Road or, there's other side streets, yeah.
Is there further discussion? Yes?
Yeah, real quick about the enclosure, we usually try to have that off away from everything, but now we're gonna have this right up in front.
No, we're putting it back about 21 feet back from the sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna go
It
back
doesn't,
inside.
I'm sorry, it just doesn't look like,
Inside,
it looks
you know,
like
yeah.
5, 6, maybe
Yeah.
7
Looks like
feet.
on the right.
Okay,
It is
gotcha.
So I
It
had,
is slightly out in front of the plane of these buildings here, and it's something that we considered, recommending moving it back into this area. I think the concern was, from an operational standpoint, that they didn't want it becoming if you're gonna have people sitting outside or enjoying themselves outside, not to have the refuse inside that patio area. So it's definitely a consideration for Plan Commission if you so choose, but I guess with the landscaping and I guess the masonry feature of, with this being more of a masonry to match, the masonry buildings nearby, complementing with that landscaping and maybe some wood doors or composite doors, I think that it would be a relatively attractive refuse enclosure, even though it is slightly sticking out about 11 feet out or 9 feet out in front of these buildings.
Does it comply with our setbacks, and is it supposed to?
Yeah, I mean, the zoning setbacks, so this area, whole area is zoned C2 commercial, And the front yard setback is 0 within a C2 zone, so technically, this building could be right up 0 lot line. That being said, it is setback, as Glenn mentioned, at least, 22 feet, so while you could argue it's in the front yard, it's technically outside of the, required front yard.
I was just gonna make a comment. I appreciate the work that the Shrubies have done to make the improvements necessary for this property. And I think this is gonna look great overall, and hopefully that'll help satisfy some of the neighbors living in the area too. So, with that said, everything does look pretty good. I would like to go ahead and move to approve this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Go back to parking for a moment, please. Basically, parking is gonna be on the street.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
They also did get a letter, because I worked with both the neighbors and the Shrubies on this. They did get a letter from the owner of the vacant building on the end. For as long as he owns it, they are allowed to have customers park in that lot as well.
And where is
And
that?
it's a
Where's that
signed
lot?
letter. It's right, that building right in the far left, right there. Yeah,
The
right
dental
there.
office.
So it's about less than 100 feet from the bar.
Oh,
Where
so
the
that whole
parking is.
section up in front there?
Yes, thank you, Steve.
Sure.
And the signed letter was submitted to the council.
And again, that is just as long as
Yes.
they own the building and
Yep.
it's vacant. If you had to push all that parking onto the street, does city engineering have any concern?
No, there is a parking lane right here, and, whether it's commercial or residential use, this is open for parking along Beloit Road in this area. If the city doesn't want that used for parking, we should eliminate that and put in a separated bicycle lane. Just my opinion there, so, okay.
Well, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Make the bar look like the house. and
Awesome, I'm going.
That's amazing. So I just want to say,
Thank you.
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next item is number 4, site landscaping and architectural design review for the Barrel House, a proposed general retail use at 1350 South 108th Street.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are just looking at a site landscaping and architecture review for the Barrel House. It's been in discussion for a while now, and they're looking to locate at 1350 South 108th Street. Previously occupied by Carpet Town for a very long time there, the 1980s until 2022, based on their Facebook post saying goodbye, folks. But yeah, we're looking to have a new tenant here, and it's very exciting because the building has been vacant since 2022. The proposed use of this building will be general retail, specifically to accommodate a liquor store and tasting room. The area of the building is about 10,000 square feet, and the zoning of this property is C3. Hours of operation are pretty standard for a bar and tasting room, or a liquor store and tasting room situation, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 2, and slightly expanded hours until 2:30 a.m. on Friday nights and Saturday nights. This is just a quick picture of what the facade currently looks like of the old Carpet Town. So the floor plan proposes a lot of new uses, but also a fair few existing uses that they're going to continue using. For example, offices as offices. There's a lot of synergy within the context of this build out. So with the western wall, they are looking to construct a new wine cellar in this area over here. And along the northern wall, we're looking at an IT storage room area, 11-foot deep beer cooler, and then an existing office up in the corner here. Along the eastern wall, they have a delivery vestibule up in this corner here, as well as some existing storage and a utility area here, as well as 2 restrooms. I wanted to call forth the following alteration: the bar and tasting room, accommodating about 700 square feet in this corner of the building, and that's going to be a relatively new addition to this build out here. In terms of the southern wall, we're going to see a cashier's area right here where my mouse is moving, and then a cigar display and humidor area. But another pretty big alteration here with the entrance vestibule, about 90 square feet here. I think I've got, a couple of pictures here, but this is just a close-up view of the bar and tasting area. Assorted tables, the bar will be here, and to note, there will be a door exiting out here with some details later to come there. A little more information about that vestibule here. Generally, they are looking to place it upon a concrete stoop with Lucia cement wall paneling, and then glass windows and aluminum trim to match the existing windows on this building. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening with the landscaping plan, and the applicant and the applicant has been working with have been really great in getting us some of that much needed information. So I do have some updates for you folks today, updated since my staff report. So in terms of the site plan, they've submitted this following site plan here. This is the most up-to-date one, indicating some of those plant species details that I asked about, and also detailing more of those landscaping details as well. But in terms of the patio, which will be going right about here, this is the current location of like the refuse area. This is what will be the new patio. It'll have 4-foot high cedar posts with hanging planters, with geraniums and begonias. A very swell situation here. They're gonna have some outdoor tables and seating for folks to enjoy. We did inquire about the potential for outdoor lighting in this area just because it is open till 2:30 a.m. potentially, or at least the interior will be. We'll have some details forthcoming as to whether any outdoor lighting plans will be submitted for this area. In terms of the vestibule area, so the vestibule is going to be going right about here. And when I visited the site this last week, I noticed that there are all these fantastic resources here already that the forthcoming applicant can leverage to create a really attractive planting display here. So we have these stone planters as well as these planter boxes on each side. The applicant has identified that these will be used and will be planted with annuals. For the signage, this is what we're looking at here, folks. It's a very prominent sign, a huge, huge pylon sign. And we have been in communications with the applicants stating things such as, well, if you folks are going to electrify your sign, we will have to see a different type of sign here. But as long as they keep the signage the same, compatible and non-electrified, we have seen no issues allowing them to change the face of this signage here. Some indicated landscaping features here. So currently you see that there's just asphalt underneath this signage. We have asked the applicant to extend these details to create more landscaping details under the sign so it doesn't look quite so out of place and quite so bare. Just because this area is very, very visible from Highway 100 and we understand the impact that that can have from such a busy thoroughfare. So this little area here specifically will be mulched with grasses and some additional planting details in a planter box as well. Moving on to the refuse container. As I had stated previously, we're going to be shifting that refuse container from somewhere up here that I cut off to right over here, which is a fine and dandy location for it. There will be grass planted around this enclosure, and it's going to be a very nice cedar post fence again as a 4-sided enclosure gate. Parking considerations on the site, there are 17 total parking spots. 2 are ADA compliant, and the lot overall just seems to be in good condition. We have no complaints there.
Just need to flip through doors though, hey? That's the grass.
Oh,
Maybe it's just a.
there may be one consideration with the refuse area.
No, actually, that's purely an asphalt in front of the
Oh,
dumpster area.
okay.
The grass could just be on the front, because things coming from the back here. Originally, we're trying to have the planter box, the dumpster facing the other side, but it's best here, then it'll be easier for the trucks to just come. So the grass will stop by the dumpster area, the concrete pad. That's all going to be asphalt. So
Okay.
we can keep asphalt all the way around, but we can also put grass in there if need be. But in front of the gates, that will be asphalt. Those are existing now as asphalt. So we just have to cut through and come up with a concrete pad for the dumpster.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a very important
Yeah.
detail to note.
When we were hurrying to send it, and all of a sudden I saw it, I said, I was about to call you to
Oh,
tell you
sure.
that, but we can explain it here. Everybody knows that we need to have a hard surface to go in front of the dumpster.
And that's why we ask the applicants to show up, folks. These are the details. But no, that is a very pertinent detail considering that there is an alleyway access through here, and I assume that's where the businesses along the way are having their dumpsters collected and refuse collected. So very good to note there. Moving forward to the architectural plan, just as a general note, the building is a stucco finish and that is set to remain. The southern elevation, there is some need for maintenance of the stucco. I'll show a quick image here. Just some general flaking and chipping. It really is localized to these little like joint areas, and they tend to be just about this size. But they are just dotted along the facade. Obviously, before the applicant moves in, they'll probably want to address some of those concerns just to have the best impact possible for their new opening. But yeah, generally the southern elevation, we're going to see new overhang and cantilevered canopy features to match the existing ones. And we will see that Nichia panel siding on that vestibule here. Along the western elevation, they're going to be permanently closing one of the existing doors there, this one back here. And they are looking to have 3 more canopies, all matching the existing and proposed ones and new windows as well. And then along the eastern vestibule, they will have a vestibule window on this side, but they are looking to remove some of the block windows and patch and fill that with the stucco material to match the existing facade.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Actually, what's gonna happen there is that we'll just retain the black windows. We're in discussion with the building inspector, and it's best just to keep the black wall instead of filling it up, because we'll just have cabinets behind it anyway. So we'll just keep the black windows there for now.
So the windows are blacked out, you can't see in, out, just, right?
Yeah, it's
Is that
just
what you're
gonna be
saying?
black. Plus, if there's shelving in there, there'll be light filtering through it.
Okay.
To see the.
Are they spandrel or is it an actual window?
No, that's an actual existing glass blocks. That's an actual existing glass blocks in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't been privy to the conversations from the building inspector side of things, so we'll be looking for some details of that, but
Oh,
thank you,
definitely.
thank you for bringing that up.
In fact, in the drawing that we just sent, the
Mhm.
whole set, it's already shown that
Oh.
it was, but
I-
anyway, that's fine.
I must have referenced the older plans with this.
So on that, this is the Highway 100, the west elevation we're talking about would be a tinted window, is it
No, I think it's the east, the bottom one?
at the bottom?
The bottom one on the eastern,
To
That's
these
the-
windows.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
that's the black windows, right?
The glass block though, right?
The block windows, not black.
Black,
Oh,
okay,
glass
sorry.
block, glass
I'm
block.
sorry,
Yeah.
I apologize.
Okay.
All is well, we
Either way.
can hammer out
Whoops,
the
I
details.
apologize. Block windows.
Yeah.
Okay.
But overall, we recommend that you folks approve the site landscaping and architectural design review for the Barrel House. And honestly, the applicant knocked off a fair few of the recommendations just by submitting to us that updated plan before Plan Commission today. So thank you folks for doing that. That makes our jobs a lot easier and yours as well. But generally, we are still looking to see an updated architectural plan to indicate sections of the existing stucco facade in need of repair and indications of the scope of repairs. We are asking for whenever they're interested in proposing their wall signage to submit a plan to us, subject to permitting. And then lastly, just providing that outdoor that detail about the patio area. If they are going to have lighting, we would like to see some sort of plan for that. But at this time, I am open to any comments, questions.
Emily, thank you. Would you go back to that slide that shows the planters?
Yes.
I think you went by it.
There we go.
The planters, I mean, as you suggested, that should be, should fit in nicely, but that sidewalk looks like it's in misery. Are they doing anything about that?
Definitely we want to make, we'll definitely be working on that. And even the facade, we may be doing some additional painting later on. We're keeping, actually the vinyl canopies right now will be maintained, but we may be painting it something later on. But for now, we're keeping it like that.
So that's a rather rough look.
Oh, no, that's gonna be changed.
Oh, that's gonna be
In
changed.
fact, the other portions are gonna be going into the one, when we do the patio, we will be doing the whole.
All right, thank you.
Because we want the facade to be really nice, and that's why those existing planters will be strategically located, so we can have annuals in there, beautiful flowers to show when they go in.
Thank you. And Steve, as a city, I thought we'd been moving away from pole-mounted signs to monument signs. Why aren't we dealing with that in this case?
In this case, they're not making any changes to the sign itself. If they were proposing to put an electronic message center on the sign or alter the structure in some manner, we'd have the authority to impose, you need to comply with our signage ordinance. But in this case, their focus is the building. In the past, we've been able to, in some cases, partner the two fixtures together. We can get the structure and the sign, but in this case, the owner wants to stay with this sign and isn't planning on making any improvements other than refacing the panels to the new brand. And they'll be maintaining the existing static message center sign. If changes come about where they start altering the cabinets or the structure of the sign, then the planning commission would be informed, and you'd have design review of, to make sure it conforms with the new ordinance. Or the
So they're
signage
putting
ordinance.
new cabinets in all four of those boxes, I guess, if you will?
But if any of the new cabinets change, if you,
Or like right now, currently, if they're gonna put a new sign, they're gonna put something in each one of the four of those?
probably, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And Navi, you probably have a better idea than me, what do you wanna do?
Sign people does their job.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a behemoth of a sign, but I think the term we'd use is like legal non-conforming, so as long as they do just keep things non-electrified, technically.
Well,
they
I
can-
think it's electric, isn't it? I mean,
Or
it does
is it?
light up, right?
It is like.
Yeah,
Oh,
it lights
okay.
up. It's
So
just
if it's
that
not
if you
the
were,
EMC.
if
Like
you were
message
gonna,
board,
yeah.
I think they use them with a message board or something. Right?
Yeah, if you were to take off something on there and wanted to put up a message board that changes, flavor of the day kind of thing, that's when the signage ordinance would require compliance.
Okay.
Have you given any consideration to a monument sign?
No, actually, I purchased this building because of the sign. Visibility.
We always have a challenge getting rid of these pole signs, and I understand why.
I think we have multiple conversations. We went through this.
Any discussion, folks?
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. You're about 5 blocks from me. I can walk to you, so I'll remember that.
Do we have anyone here this evening for,
There's a tasting bar in there, you have.
Well, that'd be more than a tasting bar for me. But thank you, yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you,
wanna
folks.
jump to
Thank
the,
you.
Of course, pleasure.
Parks and Rec one for the
Of course.
mural?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
See you, Jerry. All right.
Thank you.
Take care. See ya. Yeah.
I'm sorry, where are we going?
Number
Oh,
7.
Yeah, is anyone here for Beyond Market? Okay, Alderman Rowe, you're not, no.
No,
May we, if the count, or Plan Commission chooses, we jump to number, I think it's number 7?
Seven.
So we're just gonna skip number 5?
We'll come back to it, but 6325 West National Avenue. We could skip it too, but we'll come back to it.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so, number 7 is the plan for Bars and Rec. Marla Weniger is here, she's the owner, and she's purchased this building, and we came to the planning commission earlier this year, I think, or it was late last year, December of last year, with their plan to create a indoor rec and bar within this building. They have a number of different brands and locations throughout the Milwaukee area, and this will be another one here in West Dallas. And the focus is on the west elevation this evening. There's these two large shop windows here, which Marla is proposing to infill with a complementary cement block unit. And then once those are infilled, it would make the way for an artistic mural on that west elevation. This is what the front elevation looks like. There's several windows, that overhanging cantilever canopy. There'll be an area for signage. And this is just a theme, a brewer-themed expression that's in the village house of Wauwatosa. Something like this, a similar brewer's theme. The brewers are actually partnering with Marla and her business to do something on that west wall. And like to bring that here to West Dallas. National Avenue, as you know, is just a hop, skip, and a jump, away from the ballpark. Many people use it to get to the ballpark. So it seems fitting. What we're here, though, for tonight is just sort of that discussion about infilling those two windows and then, the new creative, I guess, mural on that west elevation over here. This is a floor plan view of the bar and rec activities taking place, right up in front here. There's a mezzanine level up above, and then this is where the recreational area will be, several lanes, and for area for people to hang out and enjoy. So if there's any questions, Marla, if there's anything you'd like to add, feel free.
This is part of the Brewers Community Engagement Program. They have done 2 murals in the area so far. This was one of them. As Steve pointed out, there's also one in Walker's Point. And their intent is to go into the neighborhoods and create these beautiful pieces of art and partner with the community, the business owner, and a local artist to both imagine the content of the art and then create it. And so this one in particular was with Village Play Cafe, and Whitney Nettles was the artist. And so you can see that the theme of this one was sort of youth-oriented, very playful. It does have that brewer's angle with the racing sausages and the pennants, but it's not in-your-face brewers advertising. And the Play Cafe is a place for young families and kids to go in and play. So that was sort of how that one all came together. The one in Walker's Point is on, I think it's a indoor athletic facility, and they have it's a big mural with a Palatero, which is an ice cream vendor pushing a cart. And so again, that was relevant to that community and the people that live in that area. So it is still very undetermined as to what the content of the art would be on this wall. That would be part of the process. But they approached us in saying, we'd love to have something on National Avenue. We'd love to have something on that wall. Is there any way that we can do this? And so this is kind of how it came about. I think it would be great for the community. I think it would be really fun for people to see as they're passing by. And in addition to that, the brewers bring a lot of promotion when they do these murals. They do a huge unveiling. They bring players in. And the president of Brewers Operation was at the Play Cafe one, and a lot of great marketing for the community and the new business as well. So I think it's really exciting that they approached us about it. I would love the opportunity to be able to do it. They're also funding the mural and the artist, which is fantastic. So obviously we would have to pay to fill the windows in, but they take the financial burden from there. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. This is a former Motor Castings operation. What condition did you find the facility in from an environmental standpoint?
Yeah, great question. It needed a lot of work. So the first year that I owned the building, I spent doing that environmental cleanup. Took it through a full environmental phase 1, phase 2, and actually partnered with the city to get a state grant to do that cleanup. We removed giant hoists from the floor, and now we have a no further action letter from the state. So it's all been cleaned up.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
What would you like from us tonight, Steve?
If you would approve this, the location of this mural, the size of it is roughly, I'm going to say about 21 feet tall, which is roughly the height of the building, maybe a little bit shorter than that. And then I'm guessing it's probably about 30, 40 feet wide, but you know, that general location on the building would be the infill location for the windows and the mural.
Actually, I'm glad you asked that. One thing that I did want to point out is I would like permission to be able to tell the brewers, this is what we talked about with the brewers, but they did say, you know, depending on what the artist wants to do, could we get permission to extend the mural out above the other windows and maybe, you know, have it wrap around to go the whole length of the building so we get that whole section that's filled in, but if the artist wants to use more of the wall, can we get permission to do that? So just wanted to bring that up in this meeting, if you are open to that idea.
Staff has no problem with that. I think that would be a neat,
Yeah, that would be
neat
nice.
option to explore with the artist, yeah.
Yeah,
If you're gonna go there, I question why even removing the windows to begin with, and that's up high enough, there's a lot of canvas space up above there. Something that comes to mind is the Fiddleheads in Menominee Falls and their mural that they have on the south side of their building that wraps around, which is really neat. I'd say like an iconic facade here of like this historic, and you're filling in these windows just to accommodate a mural. It seems a little odd to me, but.
so, Izzy Lugo was the one that we partnered with, and he was the one who said that just that top facade was not big enough for them. That was how it came about. The other two that I've seen, I know the Village Play Cafe is 1,500 square feet, and the one in Walker's Point it's 100 by, I'm not sure how tall that building is, but it's the whole, there's no windows on any part of that building.
Colleagues, is there a motion? Yes, sir.
If you could just mark me as abstaining from this item,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
I move to approve.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, and that incorporates the owner's request for an expanded
Yep.
mural.
Yep.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Best wishes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Now where are we at, number 7?
Uh,
5.
5?
let's go back to 5, yeah. All right.
Is there anything to do there? There's nothing.
Well,
They're gonna get a building built there.
they have a building going up. I met with the property owner, Mr. Mian, last week. He wanted to talk about, he would like to pave. So this is what Plan Commission and Council approved earlier this year. You know, the landscaping plan along the street frontages and then the green space behind the building. He would like to open this up and completely pave it. And
He's not here, Steve. and
he's not here.
We've already approved the one plan. Can't we just reaffirm approval of that plan?
That is what we would recommend.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't the grass there because of they have neighbors right behind on the other wall there?
There are
And
neighbors,
now, and now
yeah,
we wanna do the driveway?
back here, and then neighbors wanted to make sure there was proper fencing and, you know, some screening along this way. And they are gonna put a 5-foot fence along this area, and there's a fence along this whole area. They'd like to change that fence from a wood fence to a chain link with slat fence, and our guidelines, our technical standards indicate that it needs to be wood or composite or a decorative versus chain
So
link.
we have this approved plan to the left, right?
Mhm, correct.
Can't we just continue and reaffirm approval?
Yeah.
I think and this is just my thought, I mean, I think that you deny the changes as opposed, I think that's the more appropriate way to.
Deny the proposed revision.
Correct.
That's what we wanna do, is deny the proposed revision.
That's-
Correct,
Correct.
That's a good directive, yes.
Thank you for your guidance. Is there a motion for that?
I move to deny the proposed revision.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to deny. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Denial is in order. Thank you.
Good call on that.
Any more
I was
denials?
wondering why that was on there. The building.
What else do we have?
Well, we have to pick a date.
Planning.
Do we have anything else after this? Oh, no, this is it.
Yes, we have a date.
5-year track?
Well, we typically
December 11th.
skip the November meeting, given the Thanksgiving holiday. I mean, unless you wanted to come in the 27th, the day before Thanksgiving Eve, but,
No.
So we
or
have
the
this,
20th.
you're suggesting
I'll be
December
out of town,
4th or
so-
11th?
Yes, please.
11th.
The 4th or the 11th would be, and we have a council meeting on the 10th, so it doesn't matter. We can take things out of order. I mean, council can always do a public hearing in advance of planning commission, just make it subject to planning commission, but the 4th or the 11th are, either one of those would be fine with us.
You're suggesting 11th?
I won't be available on the 4th. It's 3 days for my Medicare, so I can't.
I'm not available on that day either.
Same with me, I prefer 11th, I'm out of town on the
Then the
4th.
11th.
The 11th work for everybody?
Okay.
11th has been accepted and
Okay.
the others have been denied. What's
That was
next?
easy.
Oh,
Project tracking?
do we have to vote on that,
Oh, we just put the 4th, or the 11th down.
or? Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if we had to go through the
Yeah, no.
approval in second. Okay.
Project tracking, some exciting projects underway. The Pan Asia is under construction, long awaited, so that's moving along. Thank you to the planning commission for really pushing for some pedestrian improvements off of Greenfield Avenue here. This sort of extended sidewalk area expands and reduces the crosswalk distance between across this driveway here. And these little frames you see going up are gonna be wood trellises, or metal or wood trellises, and they've got their new canopy on. Remember, what they originally came to us with was that ugly little cart corral they're gonna buy at Amazon. Instead, they actually fabricated something and hired a contractor to build something. So, it's coming along, and we're excited for this. Within the same town center area, just a stone's throw across the parking lot, Las Cazuelas is now open. You approved that one too. It's a small little Latin Mexican restaurant. They specialize in their chiquili. I used to be able to say it.
I don't know.
Chicago's, I think?
Chilaquiles, yeah.
It's delicious. though.
Salsas
It's
and
great.
tequilas, so check them out. Small business, very excited to see them open. They're great for the center here. The Sugar Studio is the former Daniel's Catering over on 84th and Grant Street near Central High School. That is going to be a commercial kitchen, caterer, sort of along similar lines, but also supportive of other food trucks and small businesses throughout Milwaukee County. Liberty Heights Pavilion's underway, work's underway, the footings and foundations are in. Over the next week or so, we'll see the walls coming out of the ground over there for a new pavilion. And then the DPW site's under construction as well. So this is the DPW site. A lot of the environmental remediation's been completed, site's being graded, the footings are in, precast wall installation starting in a week or two. So that's what it's gonna look like when it's done. Some current sites, views of the site right now. The waste transfer station is right here. That's what's left over. That'll be demolished at some point in the future and then combined with the rest of the site here. And then the Park Pavilion at Liberty Heights, replacing this old one here that was built in 1939 and replacing it with a newer facility. So it's served us very well over the years, but it was time to replace it, and it's underway. So thank you.
Thank you. Anything else to come before the commission?
I'd move to adjourn.
We have
Second.
We have a motion, a second, and we are adjourned, and happy Thanksgiving.
Everybody?
True.